Hello and welcome back. And today we're going to talk about the new social contract. There's a version of this conversation about AI and government that focuses on efficiency, faster services, lower costs, better decisions, and less friction. And to be fair, all of that is likely to be true, but it's not the whole or real story. The real story is that AI doesn't just change what government can do, it perhaps changes what government is. And that forces a question we haven't really answered yet. What is the social contract or the new social contract when decision making itself becomes partially automated? For a long time, as we know, government has been slow in a very specific way. Not just inefficient, but maybe deliberate. A human sits between you and the system, reviewing, interpreting, deciding, sometimes imperfectly, but still it was always visible. That friction has always been frustrating, but it's also been a form of protection. It creates space for explanation, appeal, and for judgment. AI compresses that space. Decisions that used to take days happen now in seconds or even instantly. Benefits approved or denied like that. Risk scores generated continuously. From a systems perspective, that looks like progress. But from a human perspective, the distance between us and the decision is growing. We're already seeing this. Algorithmic risk, those algorithmic risk assessments, automated fraud detection, predictive models that guiding policy and even policing. None of these systems are inherently malicious, but they move judgment away from visible human reasoning and into systems most people can't see. And not only can't see, they can't question. And when reasoning disappears from view, accountability tends to follow. So the real question becomes, who is responsible when something goes wrong? Not in theory, but for real in practice. Is it the developer, um, the particular agency? Is it the official? Or is it the system itself? Because right now, responsibility doesn't disappear, it diffuses just enough that no one quite holds it. Um, but there's another shift that's happening too. Government has always relied on some version of a shared reality, some type of shared reality. But AI has begun to fragment this. Different people can experience different versions of governments. We know this. Different levels of scrutiny, different pathways through the same system, all optimized, all data driven, but really no longer shared. And the more personalized governance becomes, the harder it is to maintain the idea of equal treatment under the law. This doesn't mean AI shouldn't be used at all, especially in government. Of course, it absolutely should. There are real benefits, faster response, better resource allocation, earlier detection of problems. But used well matters. Used well, it matters a lot. Uh, there are lines we should be careful not to cross. Systems that make high stakes decisions without human review, models that can't be explained in terms that people can actually understand, data collection that goes beyond what people knowingly consent to. We see this a lot recently. And systems that remove the need for human judgment entirely. That last one, that one will be the most tempting, but it's also the most dangerous. The goal isn't to build a government that thinks for people or for the people. It's to build one that helps people think, helps them decide and participate more effectively. AI can support that, but it can't replace judgment. Because if we automate decision making without redefining the relationship between people and power, we don't just make government more efficient, we make it much more distant. All right, I put a much more detail to this up on the stack as usual. I'll see you next time.